Hi guys, I'm Mark Wagman, Managing Director at MediaLink, here with Eric, the President of Cognitiv. Eric, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Awesome,
Yeah.
good to see you too. I'm happy to be here tonight at Cognitiv's Neural Networking event, and the key thesis of tonight is about really making things actionable in the world of AI. What do you think are the first best steps that the brand can take to really take advantage of all this great technology?
Well, first of all, thanks for being here. It's good to be here with you. I'm going to call you Wags because I know
Perfect.
you.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, when you think about AI and what's happening in the ecosystem in general, it's being used in a lot of different ways. And I think over the past few years, it's become the zeitgeist, and people are questioning what AI is. And in some cases, they fear it. But the reality is, when you're looking at AI, you should be looking at it from an efficiency standpoint. And brands are now starting to say, how can we leverage this technology in ways that will make us more efficient, allow us to get closer to our customers, and have a more immersive experience?
Great. I mean, I think how do you bring that to life, right? So if you're a marketer today and you've got a little bit of the analysis or paralysis by analysis,
Yeah.
right, disease that many do, where are the right first steps to kind of take a leap into what you guys are up to?
Yeah, I think within the context of each brand, they have different KPIs. And that is leaning in and having conversations about the technology itself and how it can apply to your OKRs, your objectives and key results, and what effect it would have on that. I'm lucky enough to have meetings, and frankly, I've been in this role only for 3 weeks, but I've been traveling extensively, having meetings internally, externally with clients and prospects, and trying to find out how they see AI and more specifically machine learning. And we talk about deep learning,
Right.
which is within machine learning. It's a neural networking, which is understanding the depth of that technology and how it can really operate similar to the brain in making decisions. Leaning in as a brand and having these conversations with the likes of a Cognitiv or others who have an understanding of the impact this can have on brands, outcomes, and more specifically, the end users that you're trying to reach and how they can have a more immersive experience, that's what we're looking to do here at Cognitiv.
That's great. You touched on a little bit of kind of the niche in which Cognitiv plays right now in the deep learning space.
Yeah.
One of the promises there with you guys and more broadly is really kind of using that deep learning technology to bring together the buy side and the sell side together into some of this. How are you guys doing that? Because I know that's one of the things that you guys have really brought to life for a lot of the market.
Yeah, and especially my experience is very much on the publisher side of the business, and understanding the value proposition that comes from an IP owner, right? Somebody who's creating content and bringing an end user into their environment and trying to create the best possible environment for them, because well, I'll use news as an example, having worked at Reuters for 4 years. It's extraordinarily challenging to monetize news because many technologies are blocking key brands from reaching really influential audiences in news. Well, one of the technologies we leverage is context and understanding context of the page. And you bring brand safety into that equation and the challenges that come with, I'm going to say it, an antiquated technology in terms of leveraging what is brand safe and what isn't.
Sure.
When you look at AI and the type of work we're doing at Cognitiv, we can actually understand sentiment, context on a page. We read the page at the impression level. And so when you're using keywords, you're not getting context of what's on that page. That's one word within an entire series of obviously words and phrases. And so it can be a game changer, not only for the brand, for the publisher, but for the end user and the experience of that end user, because advertising's not a bad thing.
Right.
If you have great advertising and you're bringing something of value to an individual in the right environment with the right context and the right message, they're going to engage.
Right.
And that's a mutual benefit. You have a publisher benefiting, you have an end user benefiting, and then we're the conduit to helping them do that.
Yeah. I think that you touch on context a little bit. I think that's an area where, we talk about buzzwords like a cookieless future and all of these things that were happening all at once. I think people underestimate the complexities around context. To your point,
Sure.
right? I always use the example of is a Jaguar a car, the football team, or the cat.
Sure.
Right. And that's a simple thing if you're in the world of computer science. But when you think about it in a term of in this concept of marketing, sometimes we lose that sight. What are you most excited about here? 2025. You're new in the role.
Yeah.
Excited. Company's got some great momentum. What are you most excited about next year?
Yeah, so, being on tour, I was in LA, I'm here in Chicago, I'll be in Seattle next week. I'm excited to meet with our clients, our prospects, and also I'm spending a lot of time with our talent, which truly here is remarkable, and I have to call that out. I've worked in a lot of different organizations, and the technical astuteness here is remarkable, but also just across the board. And so working with our teams to get in front of our prospects and clients, having dialogues, talking about what we're doing, and taking the confusion out of AI, and it can very, very easily be commoditized. And really talking about deep learning, the value of deep learning, and what that's going to mean to brands, what that's going to mean to publishers, what that means in the ecosystem, on the ability of what we can do at Cognitiv to make a better ecosystem, a better experience. And part of that certainly comes down to monetization and what that's going to mean, but in order to get there, how do we leverage the technology in ways that's going to create a more fluid experience, both in terms of what the publisher is doing, what obviously a brand is looking for through reaching an end user through a publisher, and what our technology can do to make that experience just that much better.
I mean, you touch on the people aspect. At MediaLink, we see that as well, which is this is not a technology that is turnkey out of the box that a marketer can just run with. This requires talent. This requires somebody who not only understands the domain of marketing and advertising, but also the intricacies of how to build these models and utilize them, which, again, to your point about your people, I think is a key strength of the business and where you guys have been up to.
Yeah. No, there's no question about it. And frankly, like I said, I've only been here for 3 years, but Cognitiv has been around for nearly 10.
Yeah.
And so this is not a fly-by-night or new experience, and Cognitiv was not built on the zeitgeist of AI. It was built on the premise that there are some brilliant people who understand and understood 10 years ago about what AI was going to do, and specifically deep learning within this space. And they chose the advertising space in order to really maximize that. And the growth of this company, especially over the past few years, has been exponential. And so they brought somebody like me from a business standpoint to come in here and help them continue to scale the business and continue to really bring that message to the forefront in terms of the value of what that not only means at Cognitiv, but what that means for our brands and for the entire constituency who can leverage it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate you inviting me, and excited for tonight. So really excited to be here with the team.
Me too. Glad you could make it. Glad to see you.
Awesome.
Let's have a good time.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.